Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to our next class. This is gonna be reversing Arsenal. So basically now you have been gone through, how to understand Windows binaries, the formats of those type of files. Then you went through all the different dynamic analysis, by this time you already went through different exercises, but there is time to make a stop about a quick view of the arsenal. By arsenal, I mean the different tools that we're going to be using. This is the theory class. It's going to be a quick view, but then we're going to have a labs view, which is going to give us a little bit more depth, because in previous classes you saw some sort of those tools, but now we're going to go a little bit more into detail, because basically those tools are going to be used along the training, so you better get familiar with those guys. Okay, so the agenda is going to be talking about PE editors. PE, as you remember, is Portable Executable, which is the format of Windows binaries. It's very important to understand how to edit those guys, how to check their format, their properties, their sections and everything. Runtime monitoring, as you know, for dynamic analysis. Network traffic to capture malicious data flowing out to the network. Debuggers, very important to understand how to debug binaries and malware. Disassembler for static analysis. Binary emulation, guys, very important, because you will need to understand at the end of the day how we can automate the whole process. Remember our methodology. At the end, we need to scale. We need to automate so that we can tackle the challenge to have multiple malwares every single day. You cannot do it one by one at a time. Okay. So let's see a little bit about the introduction. So most of those tools are open source. Some of them are commercial, but you're gonna be using obviously all those tools that are open for us, free for us. So don't worry about that. So we're gonna be always using the tools available for us, so that you can use it without any problems. Remember, we're gonna giving you a virtual machine so that you can have all the tools loaded, and also we can give you the website where you can download those tools if you wanna do it on your own. As I said, to monitor traffic, network traffic, debug malware, reverse engineer malware, and automate the process, as I said, through emulation, so that you can extract IOCs, so you can tackle and, for example, get 100 samples and then just drop them into a folder, and you just run a tool so that you can analyze them in one shot. Okay, so let's go about PE editors. Again, this is a quick view. Then we're gonna have some labs for you to see real use of those, and then obviously along the course you're gonna be using many of them. These are just basic ones, most of them, the most common ones, but you will be using a lot of them. Okay, so LordPE, guys, LordPE, this is one of the tools that I really want to keep in the training. It is also in the VM, and I think it's not available anymore in a website, at least not in a trusted one. But as you know, always the virtual machine that you're going to be using, use it on your own. Be careful, don't use it never in a production environment, meaning in your corporate company, because that is always a risk that these tools can have some malicious activity going on. Okay, that's why you always use it in a virtual machine. So LordPE, it was and still we are going to be using it. It's a great tool that has a lot of different properties. So you can, for example, you can open up a binary and check which are the properties. As you remember in the Windows binary class, we talk about the PE header, so you can see here all the properties of those header content, but you can also actually change it. You can go and change the entry point, you can change the number of sections, and you can even go to the characteristics, as you can see in the box below. That is more related to the different properties of the file. For example, if the file it is a DLL, you have here a DLL box, or if it is an executable, if it is a relocated, if like all the different properties, you can edit them and change them. You can also, for example, go and edit the section headers. You remember the sections, so you can go to the sections and you can actually change the permissions. Like if it is executable, readable, you can make it writable. Sometimes the malware does that so that it can make writable a section, so that it can write at memory time malicious code on it. So basically you can edit everything on the file with LordPE. But not only that, you can also go to the directory table. As you remember, the export table, import table, you can change all those different base addresses. I mean, that's not something that you want to do. It's not something kind of common, but that's the possibility. You can always go and check every single table, like in this case the import table. Check what is the different start address, end address, size, and all the different imports from all of those different DLLs loaded or to be loaded by this binary. So all the properties, you can see them. It also comes with a hex editor. A hex editor is like a raw view of the binary. As you can see here, this binary right here, we change the 44, which, as you remember, this is the second byte in a binary, which is supposed to see is supposed to be the letter Z, but here we change it to 44. As you can see here, we change it to the letter D, just for you to see that you can actually edit the content of these binaries, and you can save them and modify them if you want. It also comes with a dump. So basically, if you are in a system and you want to dump a process, you can do a full dump of the binary, or you can even dump specific sections on it. That was actually pretty cool back in the day, but still is there, still is in our lab. So kudos to Yoda, whoever it is, that guy. If you see this video, kudos to you guys, because really was an amazing tool. Still available for us. Second one, CFF Explorer. This is also another tool for you to edit binaries. It is more supported. This is still available. As you can see here, I'm giving you the URLs where you can download them on your own risk. Those are already in the virtual machine that we're going to be providing you. And again, this can also allows you to see the sections. It can allow you to see the properties, the flags on the file. You can also have a hex editor, as you can see in the middle. You can also have a disassembler in this case, where you can have like all those bytes converted into assembly instructions. You can change the base address. I mean, it is a huge tool that you can also use, CFF Explorer. To be honest, in practice, we don't really need, we're not going to be using these tools to do too much stuff in terms of changing it. It's more for us to have a quick view of the binary, the content, and more than doing more like a disassembly. There are other tools that do better job in disassembly. So you will see how we are going to be using it once we start doing the labs. CFF Explorer, for example, offers more features than LordPE. It's a little bit younger. includes a disassembler, as I said, support .NET binaries. So it doesn't only parse PE native, but also .NET, which, as you remember, it is similar to a Windows binary, but .NET has a different format, has an extra section and other properties. So CFF Explorer can also parse this kind of binaries. It has a resources editor. Basically means the resources is a section in a binary that normally it stores malware for malicious actions, obviously, when it is a malicious file. So you can see the resources editor also with this tool. You can see the content. It has an hex editor, as I said. So it's actually pretty cool. Okay. So let's see Hiew. Hiew is another tool that is actually from Russia. It's pretty cool. It's an old school hacker tool. I really I really wanna keep it in our labs, and I wanna really keep it in our VM, because this is an old school tool, guys. It's pretty amazing. It is actually has a commercial version, so that you can consider it buying it. We use a demo version which only supports 32 bits, but it's pretty cool. And it's actually, if you like it, like if you like not to use mouse and only your keyboard, this is pretty cool, because basically you just use the mouse, to go to the different numbers. You can see the numbers at the bottom. Those you can access them with a function, the keyboard function option with the F1, F2, F3, and 4, and so on. And then you can access all those options. And it's pretty cool, because with just the keyboard, you can quickly see what you were seeing in LordPE or in CFF Explorer, but through the keyboard. It's pretty fast. You can just go in, see the export table, see different views of the file. You can see a disassembled view. You can patch code on it. You can actually even automate some processes, like exporting the whole file. You can split or truncate it. So it's pretty amazing, and it's all in your hands. You don't need to use any mouse. So for the guys who love keyboard, this is your tool, and I really, really love it. Okay, as I said, it's a PE parser, a hex editor. You can cut and paste binaries. It can disassemble 32 and 64 bits. However, the 64 bits version is only if you buy the commercial one, and the 32 bits can help you with, with edit this format. Okay. Okay, so now Resource Hacker. Resource Hacker is another tool, as I said, for you to focus on resources, which is again this section in a file that has, like, normally a v9 file. In the resources is going to have icons, is going to have images, which are the properties of the file. But for malicious actions, this is a section where malware authors hide malicious data. Okay, so normally you can use it to have a quick view of the resources. You can extract the content. Again, here is the website. As you can see, these are very old tools, and that's why those are HTTP. Those are not maintained anymore, but those are still running perfectly, even in Windows 10 and sometimes even in Windows 11. Okay, you can extract binaries. Very good point. So if you eventually get something in the resources, you can just dump it out for you. Okay, so let's talk about runtime monitoring. Again, you are gonna have examples of this, and this is where you can easily go and run files, and you just wanna see what they are doing dynamically. The first one is Process Explorer. Is owned by Microsoft. Here you can see the processes running. This is very useful when sometimes you want to see how another process pops up suddenly or how it is being injected into another process. So visually, it's pretty cool. But again, also you can even go deep into the properties. As you can see in the right side, you can go to the properties of the file. You can see the threads available. You can see the permissions, as you can see here. Dep is a permission for execution in memory. Don't worry about that. So I mean, it is also very useful, but in practice, we're gonna be using it just to check how the malware is doing in memory in a visual way. Here is the link if you wanna check it, okay? So, as I said, it's pretty useful for process injection. Sometimes you can see, because you know the way it works is that once you have a process being injected, it will put in red color right away in the screen that something is being injected, so you can easily see it, and it's actually it's pretty cool for that. It can verify signed binaries. Signed binaries is very important because basically when you have a signed binary, it gives you some sort of confidence that it is being a trust. However, it depends on who is signing. In other words, who is saying this program belongs to me. If it is Microsoft, it's trusted, but sometimes the trusted agencies are not real ones. So you don't want to trust completely if it is signed. You want to check that the signature is coming from a trusted provider, and those things we're going to be seeing in our training. Display process properties, as I said, and CPU and memory usage. Show process security properties, like if this binary has memory protection. As I said, dep is for protecting the stack, and ASLR is for making sure that the file is loaded at random addresses at memory. That's more for protecting the binaries, so you can check if those have these features enabled.